Hello everybody, this is Sean. This is Photography Tips and Tricks, and this episode is going to be a very interesting one. These are actually tutorials that this episode and the following episode are going to be two tutorials that I've actually covered here before already on the channel. However, as I always like to say, there's always more than one way to do things in Photoshop. Sometimes there's many ways. These two ways in particular are very fast ways. This is the quick, down and dirty, easy way. A lot of people don't know about this way, but the ones that do use it a lot. I actually gave a tutorial on these two subjects before in past episodes, but it's actually the in-depth, long ways for you guys to understand what's actually happening. Now that you know that way, I'm going to actually show you a really, really fast way on how to do these two things. And the first thing that we're going to talk about in this episode is selective color. What is the fastest way to get selective color? Okay, so basically selective color is you have a black and white image, or that's converted to grayscale, and you're taking a particular part of the image and keeping that in color. So it's very popular. I do it a lot in weddings. You take the bride and groom and then you keep the flower in color. That's a really, really great thing that a lot of people like, that effect. It's also very popular in portraits, keeping a certain thing on their clothes or something that they're wearing in color, and everything else is in black and white. It's a nice subtle effect. I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, naturally, compared to the other way that I showed you, this way has its ups and downs. One of the ups is that it's fast and easy. One of the downs is that it doesn't always work with every single image. You have to specifically know what color you're going after. And sometimes I've noticed when I was messing with this, it sucks other colors in also. So you kind of have to use it in a specific instance. Now, this instance, it's going to work great. It's with a flower. And I already know what I want to do. So the goal is you have to set a goal first before you could use this method, before going to the longer method where you're actually painting with a brush and a mask. In this image, I know that I want to keep the flower in color and everything else black and white. The trick is not to convert anything to grayscale. We're going to do something completely different, and these two tutorials are both going to be done in Camera Raw. Camera Raw has become so powerful, especially in Photoshop CC and the new Camera Raw. I've been finding myself going there so much more now than ever before. And now in Photoshop CC, as you know, you can convert any image to Camera Raw with a click of a button by just going to Camera Raw Filter and make your images, make your edits. Instead of reopening the entire image again, I just go back into Camera Raw Filter, just like this. I'm going to show you right now. It's so quick and easy. It's amazing. So there you go. So now that we have our image opened up in Camera Raw as a filter, we're inside of Camera Raw 8. And I'm going to actually show you one of the best ways to do this. So we're going to go to HSL Grayscale, Hue, Saturation, Luminance. Okay, but we're not going to convert to grayscale. So what I like to do is, before even looking at the image, I just drag everything to the left. So I'm basically desaturating everything. So in reality, I'm really converting it to grayscale technically by doing all this. And once you have everything to the left, you have a desaturated image. Now, if you specifically know what you want to bring back into the image, you could do that without painting, without using a mask, without using a brush. So I know in particular, this image, I want the flower itself. So I'm going to be working with two colors, purples and magentas. Now watch this. And depending on how far you go to the right is depending on how far the image is going to be pushed. Okay, we're going to even pull some magentas in to get that extra color. Look at that. What I just did, I'm going to open it back up into Photoshop. Now watch. Look at that. What I just did within a few seconds, literally a few seconds, somebody would think that I did it the long way, like my previous tutorial, and I used a brush. That's how fast I did that. So again, it's wonderful, it's fast, It really speeds up your workflow. You gotta know the specific color, and you gotta know what you're going after. If you could figure that out in your image, just like in this example, it's gonna be great. You're gonna save so much time. You're gonna be doing this to a lot more images. I'm glad you joined me today. And join me on the next episode where we're actually going to be covering another step just like this. Okay, take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me.